Hey guys, it's Vince with New Dwelling Tips, and today's topic is how to replace an old window. These windows, this home is pretty old, and it's just time to put some new ones in, make it a lot more energy efficient. So first process is we've got to remove these sashes. There's a little channel in here, and as you can see, they're pretty difficult to operate. You can't even get them past that point. So yeah, so let's start do some demo and get going. So what I want to do first is remove this frame here. So I just like using a nice crowbar, wood handled hammer I love. It's kind of old school, but it takes up a lot of shock out of your wrist. Okay, so it's really that easy. Another tip when you're working, just pound these nails down. You can see those are pretty high up. If you just throw this on the lumber pile, you forget about it later on, you step on it, and you're wondering why the bottom of your foot's getting wet and bleeding. So yeah, just take the time, and it's a good idea. Doesn't take long. Just pound those down as such. And you're off to the next one. So another thing I wanted to show you on this is the frame. It kind of sits flush against the house, and then the windows here, this steps back. So we'll do the same thing on the new windows. Once the new windows set in, build this, rip a piece, and kind of set that in. It's a nice look. It's watertight, but we'll get into that later. Right. Okay, so we're gonna pull this slice free, and you just want to get some clippers for like tin snips, if you could. And there's the reason why that is there's a weight in here, and so when I pull this out, there's a little cable, so I need to clip that off to release the sash. You can hear it. That just makes it a little easier to operate the window. And the bottom sash is a little bit different, but I'll show you how to do that. All right, so step 2 is remove the bottom sash. Just got to remove this little trim piece around the outside. some little finish nails along here, and I need to set those so it can free the window up. I just use the flat bar, and then you can set that nail. You can get in there pretty tight that way. Okay, that's ready to release the lower sash. And you can see there's that cable. So the old windows obviously just single pane, and it's, you know, just not very weather tight, pretty drafty. The next thing I want to do is on the top, there's where the frame is, I need to kind of open that a little bit wider. This sill angles up. I want to make sure that new window fits nice and flat against the old trim on the inside. So I can put my mask on. And use my Sawzall, the Milwaukee Sawzall. These are excellent. It's the 18 volt. I've had the Porter cable for years, and the corded type, and when this came out I was a little skeptical, but I love it. A lot of power, and works excellent. So good product. Okay, and so there's a few little corner nails where the trim kind of interconnects, and there's some nails that I need to twist out of there. So it's pretty simple. Just kind of bend them back and forth. All right, so the next step is to go ahead and clean up around the window frame, and then we can go ahead and set the new window. So there's some little shims from the original window that stick out, and when we set that window in and then do the trim, those are going to be in our way. So we need to go ahead and cut those off and get that in place before we set the window so we don't damage the window once it's in there. All right, let's get started. these were just basically what I need to nip off, and we're good to go as far as that goes. So the other thing I wanted to show you is this handy tool, and I'll show you what that's all about in a second. So the window's in place. Obvious it's not secure. You know, it's top heavy. I like to take out the lower sash, makes it a lot lighter, a lot easier to work with. And how do you hold that? So I've got this, it just flips over. So let me go ahead and install one of these for you. It's just a scrap piece of wood with a screw in it. And if you've got an extra buddy, he can be standing on the inside holding that window for you. You might have to pay him for beer or pizza, so this is a little cheaper, and it works well. So this basically just pivots now and holds that keeps that from rocking out. See, now hands free. I went already ahead and pre-drilled the sides of the windows here, and up in the corners. So again, the Milwaukee, once you stick with the brand, it's nice because the batteries are all interchangeable. And then these are the screws you want to use. They have a head on it, and they just set in nice and flush on there. So those just screw in. So there's a little bit more to that. And this is kind of where the slow process works. Definitely want to make sure it's level, plumb, check everywhere. Shim underneath the window, you know, you're gonna have to kind of adjust all that. Then I kind of lightly screw it in. The other thing you want to do is take a shim and mark it here and check, you know, put a little pencil mark along there, and then flip that over on this side, and the reveal should be the same. So that way you know it's centered in that window frame this way and that. So that makes sense. Take a piece of scrap wood, run a pencil line on there, and then when you flip it this way, that pencil line should line up with this edge. So it just gives you a good reference point, and that's pretty much it. You know, just make sure it's plumb, and this is where you really got to take the time and not rush it. So hope that was helpful. On the next video, I'll show you how to trim this out, make sure it's all waterproof, and that's super important to, you know, do the proper flashing, everything like that. All right, thanks so much for watching, and have a great day. All right, bye-bye.